Hi everyone, it's Vacha here from recordingstudio9.com. A while ago you might remember me reviewing some acoustic foams, the ones that actually sit underneath your studio monitor speakers, and how difference they make and how effective they are, and so on, rather than making your speakers sitting on the bench or being supported by these foams. So I did a test with it, without it, and have a listen to it and use my ears to judge the difference. And surely, as a personal view, I did actually hear some difference, but my ears are not a scientific way of knowing if it's working or not. So to clarify things, I decided today to actually use room analysis and sort of audio sweeping to find out if those foams actually do make a difference. So for my setup, I do have my ECM 8000, the reference microphone setup, and I will be running Room Acoustic Wizard on my PC to do analysis. First, I will do analysis with the foams on because I already have them on there, and then I will run another one with the same setup, but just that the speakers sitting on the bench, and compare the graphs and be able to see if it does make any difference or not, you know, so that we get my ears and my perspective out of the equation, and let the reference microphone do the testing, and we'll be the judge of that. So if you want to find out how to set up this setting, I do have a video. You can go to my YouTube channel and find out how I have set up and how to do room acoustic and analysis. So basically the microphone is connected to my AudioBox 1818 VSL on channel 1. Obviously for this whole purpose it needs to be no effects at all, and that basically directly fits into Room Acoustic Wizard software, and the sound from the software comes out of my PreSonus Eris E8 studio monitors. So let's do some testing and see how different it will sound with and without the foam. So basically I'm just about to run Room Acoustic Wizard. And the way to set it up is, I'll go in basic terms. We need to calibrate the speakers to the microphone to the level of the sound that we need. So basically I will go into the setup. I'm going to preferences, and I'm going to use main speaker to check the levels for the levels. So, and then I will click check level, and then we click next. Now the speakers are making that noise. What we need to do, I'm going to use my mobile phone application of SPL meter, and then adjust the volume of the speakers so that it displays around 75 dB SPL. So at the moment it's 73. Okay, my SPL meter is now actually showing about 75.5 to 76 dB. Doesn't have to be that accurate. We just want to get, some average measurement. The next thing I need to adjust is the microphone volume that was actually listening to the noise, and adjust it until it's minus 18 dB. Okay, so now we have a reference level. So the speakers are making that white noise for about 75, 76 dB SPL, and the microphone is receiving that level and feeding back in, and the input mixer volume is adjusted so that the input volume goes up to minus 18 dB. So that's where it's set at. So now we know the output and the input levels. So next, let's do some measurements. So now we will do some measurements, and we'll do a graph. So there'll be an audio sweep, and I do have a delay of 4 seconds. So basically we need to be out of the environment. I'll just move away from the microphone in the room for it to do the sweep, and it should give us the graph. And I will actually do a screen capture so we can have a look the graph closely on screen as well. I'm just going to do check levels first. Yep, minus 17.3 dB, and it says the level is okay. So we're going to do the measurement now. Let's move away. Okay, we now have a graph of the audio sweep. It is in very high details. So let me just do a screen capture. As you can see on the screen, it is in high detail. I usually do a smoothing of 1/3 octave. So this gives us a better, smoother response of ideally what we want to look at, because otherwise it's too much detail for us to see. Now that it's smoothed, we can see that it's pretty smooth, but we do have a peak around 130, 140 hertz, and probably another peak around 250 hertz and so on, and we have a small dip at about 550 hertz and so on, and it's pretty much after 5K it's very steep down to 10K of response, which is quite a normal response. So this is our initial sweep with the foams on. So I will stop the video so that it gives me time to go and take the foams off, and we do the same measurements again, and then we will compare the two graphs together. Now, as you can see, I do have the speakers now sitting on the actual my workstation bench at the top, and we'll do the sweep again and to see how different the graph will look. And out of the way. Let's have a look what the graph looks like. This is in high detail. And let's do a smoothing of 1/3 octave. So that's what it looks like without the actual foams in place. So let's put them together. So did it make any difference? Well, not much, very slightly. So this is what it actually looks like. The blue one is the original one that we took, and the red one is the second one without the foam that we copied. Looks like at the bottom end there's not much difference, very slight, no more than half a dB, not even half a dB difference, around 85 Hertz. It did increase around the 550 Hertz, and then pretty much looks like it extended the range, the higher range. So the peak is, instead of starting at 72 dB at 5K, and now it's actually minus 72 dB at about just under 6K. So it extended the range of the higher end, which I would thought it would be the other way around. So I will do another check, but this time I will do another sweep at the lower end of the frequency to see if that will actually does make any difference, if it's going to show anything different. And then I'm going to put the foams back on and do the other test one more time with the same frequency range selection, and to see how different that will be. Okay, this measurement went from 40 Hertz up to 10 kilohertz. So this is what it looks like in high definition. And if we go into 1/3 octave smoothing, that's what it looks like. Let's compare that with the others. What it looks like, you know, doesn't matter what the range we select, the frequency response is still the same for that test as well. So I will put the foams back on and do another test so that we are double testing, making sure that we haven't missed anything, we haven't changed anything other than putting on the foams and removing the foams. So while I'll do that, I'll turn off the video and I'll come back very shortly. Otherwise it's a boring watch, me putting the foams on and off. Okay, I have put the foams back on so that we can do another test with the foams back on. Again, going from 40 Hertz to 10 kilohertz audio sweep range. There we go, out of the way. We now have the high resolution graph, so I'm just going to smooth it out with 1/3 octave. And this is what it looks like. So let's compare them all together. Let's compare it between the first time we did with the foams on and this time that we did the foams on as well. And this is what it looks like. Looks like it's pretty much the same. At the bottom end is all the same. And let's compare that one with the last time we did without the foams. So the dark blue is the current one with foam on, and the light sort of cyan color graph is the one that we did without the foam just before. And now we are actually looking at the red one is the one without the foam at the first time we did, so at the 20 kilohertz range. So there's very little difference, if any at all. So putting all of them together, so putting them all together, sort of spaced out, that's what the graph looks like. And this is what the graphs look like, all 4 audio strips that we did together. And so there's not much difference. Now I'm going to do one last audio sweep. This time I'm going to enable my parametric equalizer, which is basically the Behringer feedback destroyer, and which is the FB-D 1100, which is designed to automatically capture feedback signals, audio signals on live stage situations, and then kill them. But they are parametric equalizers. So I actually use that physical rack unit to where my output from my mixer go into that the feedback destroyer from Behringer, and comes out and goes to my active speakers. And it allows me to have up to 12 stereo parametric EQs. So I can actually put in the correct values that will adjust all of the peaks and the dips in my system, and so that my output is all balanced. So I will do an audio sweep with it turned on, because I did have it all sort of bypassed, and now that it's on, and we'll do another audio sweep and we compare it to see how different the graph looks when you actually physically use parametric EQs to adjust, to compensate for the dips and the peaks in your sound system, which is affected by the room. And I will tell you, I might actually do a video later on how that is all set up, because that's a hardware version that I have selected. Obviously there are also audio versions of such devices, especially mainly the IK Multimedia ARC and few similar ones, but they are more expensive. So I preferred the hardware version, which is cheaper and much better, and I will tell you that in the next video, which is not part of this one. So let's do another audio sweep with my parametric EQ room equalizer, which is a part 2 of my video series of what it changes. There we go. Okay, this is a high resolution graph, and let's do 1/3 octave smoothing, and then let's compare it with the last one we did with the foams on. As you can see, with the correct value settings with my parametric equalizer, I have reduced that very high peak of pretty much 10 dB of peak at about 135 Hertz. So the green one is the new thing, and it has extended my range all the way up to about 7K before it drops off, and that's gaining about 2 kilohertz at the top end, and pretty much everything else is smoothed out as well. So that's putting it together. I'll just do another screenshot of that. As you can see, now it looks much smoother than what it used to be. So basically that's what you can do to adjust your room imbalances of how it sounds in your room from your speakers you have and the acoustic treatment you have in your room. And using that parametric equalizer, you can adjust it so you get much flatter response. Obviously, this is a very rough adjustment that I have done. It's plenty enough for to do mastering and so on, but you can always go into further details. So hopefully in the next video I'll go through that with you about how to set that up. And let's go to the conclusion. So as we saw in the experiment, and you know, I did it twice to make sure that we didn't do anything different, that we're all the same thing. It looks like there is no difference in the bottom end as far as this room is concerned, as far as these speakers are concerned and where are they located. Now obviously it might be different in a different room and different environment, different speakers, maybe a system with subs might make a difference, but I think hearing the difference would have been because of some vibrations that my desk was actually getting when I initially tested it using my ears, but testing it in the reality with the reference microphone, which does not depend on any personal taste, looks like there's hardly any difference. So I'll leave it up to you and it's your judgment. I still have the foams on, even if they don't do much difference. They angle my speakers the right way, so they are facing it correctly at me, even if they are sonically not doing much of a difference. I'll let you be the judge of that and whether they are worth the anywhere between $30 to $60 for a set to purchase. But yeah, so if you have any comments in regards to the foam, I know there are some different varieties of them. They have different claims. I can only talk about the ones that I have. So if you have any comments, feel free to comment anything below. And if you like my experiment and it proved you correct, so now you have something to go on with, give me the thumbs up or the thumbs down, whichever one you like, but let me know why you don't like it. I like negative feedback with a good communication so I can resolve it. If I had missed anything in my experiment, that would have made the difference. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. That way you are always kept up to date in all the things that I do, all the experiments that I do, and tips and information that I provide all for free. And if you haven't visited my website, you please do so, and that's recordingstudio9.com. And until next time, thanks for watching. Cheerio.